This video is about Napoleon's 100 days. In the year 1815, Napoleon Bonaparte returned to France and acted again as Empereur des Français. The entire continent stood against Napoleon, but Prussia and the United Kingdom should be mentioned because these two countries were essential in finally defeating Napoleon. Until 1812, he ruled over vast parts of Europe, but he lost the Russian campaign, the German campaign, and then the Allies invaded France. Napoleon abdicated and was exiled on Elba. The Bourbon monarchy was restored in France. The European powers negotiated in Vienna how to divide Europe and how to restore the old order. So why did Napoleon now return to France? Why didn't he enjoy a cozy retirement life on Elba? He was aware that there were conflicts between the parties in Vienna. Even a war was looming between them. He also heard rumors that he should be exiled on the Azores or on St. Helena in the Atlantic. Furthermore, he realized that France was threatened to lose her glory as the empire and be reduced to a status from before the French Revolution. In France, the veterans of the Grande Armée and parts of the population were treated badly by the Bourbons and the Royalists. Furthermore, he saw that also the people of France, soldiers and veterans included, were not happy about the loss of French greatness. Therefore, in February 1815, he left Elba with approximately 1,000 men. He arrived at France near Antibes and then marched north. He met a few regiments, French troops, but they changed sides. And here stands the legend of Napoleon, and you still can see his way, the route Napoleon, you can still visit in France to this day. There is one story that he met a regiment and then said, "If there is a soldier amongst you who wants to kill his emperor, here I am." The European powers in Vienna were not happy. They outlawed Napoleon, but in France he gained power. For instance, very important, Maréchal Ney joined Napoleon. He changed sides. He arrived in Paris, and there he undertook some reforms, for instance, a liberal constitution and the freedom of the press. Now the war was on, and firstly to a war in the south, not the main part, in Naples. There was Napoleon's brother-in-law, Joachim Murat. He was king of Naples, and he saw his kingdom and might also threatened by the Vienna Congress. So he declared war on Austria, marched north, but was there repelled and then decisively beaten in the Battle of Tolentino. In May, the former king of Naples could be reinstated and Murat was out of the game. More importantly, in the north. Firstly, Napoleon could defeat Blücher, and Maréchal Ney prevented the British forces to join the Prussians. But then there was the decisive battle of Waterloo. At some point it could have gone either way, but anyway, in the end, the British-Prussian force won. Wellington's and Blücher's victory meant that Napoleon's rule should be over soon. He returned to Paris and then he abdicated for the last time. Prussian troops reached Paris in July, and a day later the Bourbon monarchy was restored. Napoleon surrendered to Captain Maitland of the Royal Navy, and then he was brought to St. Helena, his final destination, where he should die a few years later. With the second peace of Paris, France was then restored in the borders of 1790. Finally, it should be mentioned before, Maréchal Ney, he was then executed, and it is said that he was giving the command to his own firing squad. Napoleon, as mentioned, exiled on Elba, died in 1821. But the fascination and the myth of Napoleon Bonaparte lives on to this day. The Napoleonic era is an important basis for the French national identity and the French feeling of being the Grande Nation. Now further developments. The Congress of Vienna decided to restore the balance of power and the old societal order, meaning absolutist monarchies. The European Restoration begins, but there were liberal and national movements that grew stronger and could not be stopped, for instance, Belgium, Germany, and Italy. That was Napoleon's 100 Days in 5.